I got everything packed this morning. That's ready. She said she'd give a ride back to the trail at 8 o'clock. I done stripped my bunk here. And at 10 till 8, she said she gave a ride back to the trail at 8. So I am waiting. So when they made this trail, this was a little road right here. Now it's not on high-speed traffic. Walking along here, come right by you. I mean high speed. They come flying. Typical example right there. That white car. There wasn't nothing but a truck and a car coming up on top of this hill, and me. And that car timed it just right. They all did, just so we could all be there together. I could feel the wind off of them. I tell you, most people, they ain't got a consideration whatsoever. Or some people might walking on the road, they don't even consider it. Alright, this thing gets off this road somewhere, and I don't know where. There it is right there. Good deal. Right there. But I didn't sleep too good in that hostel last night. It wasn't the heat. I slept good till 2 in the morning. I woke up and I was itching. And I can't believe it was bed bugs, but there was something biting me. And and then I felt something crawling on me twice. And I caught one of them and got it between my fingers and bit. And it looked like a big old flea. And they did have dogs. And there was a dog bowl in there, in that. But the pull up. Now I watched her change the sheets. I helped her change the bed. So it was a clean wash sheet I was laying on, and I put the pillowcases on myself. They were clean pillowcases. And but they had these pullovers, and believe it or not, even though it was 100 degrees yesterday, like I said, we're in the mountains. We're still in this area. We're not right on the coast, Gulf Coast here. So it was cool. So I reached down. At the end of the bed, they had these stacked up. They're like wool blankets, and I think they had dogs. So I'm thinking the dogs probably slept on them. You know what I mean? And I think they were fleas, so they had fleas on them. That's what I think now. I'm looking back on it. But I don't think it was, as far as the mosquitoes and stuff, and no SIMs, it amazed me. Didn't have a problem with it. And I think they probably spray. And where I was at, there's an area all around this city that's got people, you know, because these Boyle Springs, you know, back in the day, this was a pretty thriving community. They had ironworks here. They had all kinds of you have and it was flat ground out here for farming. So you got food, you got water, you got this giant spring boiling. I mean, city water. Not only did it could do the crops, it could take the sewer out. I mean, everything. That's what makes a community. So this community goes back to, you know, back to the big origins of the country. This area here. So, some really old stuff. Alright. Pretty cool though. It's kind of neat hiking through here. So here we go. Let's continue on. And parts of this trail not only look weed eated, but it looks mowed. But I've already passed people day walking, past jogging, woman jogging. I think that's peanuts, I guess. They kind of look like peanuts. Some kind of nut or something. I hope this duck's back in the woods, but I doubt it. It probably goes to some more fields out here in Pennsylvania. Because the profile doesn't show mountains, so it's kind of rolling profile. So I'm looking to see another field here on this other side, probably. All right. And then the oil doesn't get trail through here. I don't know if that's like a fence. I guess that's another thing, piling these flat rocks up from out of these farm fields. I guess they can bring them out and make a fence with them, or a property border with them, I guess. But I imagine even in them Pennsylvania fields they had to get the rocks out. I mean, this trail's still a little rugged. I went up and down some rocks here just a minute ago. Kind of steep a little bit, and there's actually from here all the way to where I was looking at the Pennsylvania Turnpike, there's actually 300 feet of ascent. I mean, I'm going to be climbing here and there, so it adds up. So the trail ain't flat, but by AT standards, it certainly is 300 feet of ascent in the course of about six miles. That's, for my AT standards, that's flat. Yeah, in Georgia, or like I said, it's like 300-foot elevation change or ascent in the next 6 miles here. Whereas most of Pennsylvania is in the course of a day, you might have one or two 500-foot climbs, 300-footer or 600-footer or something like that. Most of Virginia, to put it in perspective, you'd have a couple 1,000-foot climbs daily. Then when you go as compared to the Smokies, where you would have 5,000 feet of ascent in a day, daily, in a day. I mean, in the course of the day, you climb about 5,000 feet. Some places in Virginia, it'd be 3,000 or 4,000 every, in the course of the day, because you just have that third climb or whatever, make it 4,000 in the course of 12, 15 miles. And then in Georgia's a lot of climbing too, but Georgia's kind of different. It's pretty tough, straight up, straight down. And you're still going to have, 1,000-foot climbs in Georgia, left and right. Just about daily. Daily, you'll have 1,000-foot climbs, and then 700-foot climbs, stuff like that. So this is some really flat stuff here. It's supposed to be hot today again. So the only problem about hiking through the farmlands is I got to deal with the extra humidity. The air's a little thicker, hotter, so I'm probably not going to hike as far today. I'm going to try to look at that Pennsylvania Turnpike. When I get there, I'm going to see if I can find my way over to that Super 8. Alright. Across the road. Old fella stopped there, parked his truck, going for a walk. Very popular day walk area, I guess. And rightfully so. It's well kept. This is bush hogged here, it looks like. Somebody came through with a tractor and bush hogged it. And that's really nice because you don't have to worry about the ticks and all that stuff and the bugs. You got these houses out here all over the place, but there's no water. This whole stretch is, and I tell you, there's no water. So you have hikers out here, dehydration issues. I can die, and people sitting in their house drinking lemonade, watching them out the window. Also advise any water in this area not to drink it because it's runoff from farms, pesticides, cows, and you should not drink it. just to give you an idea. And another Pennsylvania farm we're coming through. That's an old looking house over there. They're still using it. Well, I haven't seen any hikers. This must not be much day use here. It's all overgrown. They got something out there growing in between the layers of the old corn. I don't know if that's peanuts or soybeans or what. I don't know what that is. Soybeans? Maybe, I don't know. Well, at least I'm not out in the field. I'm in the tree cover along the edge of the field, which is pretty nice. Tell this trail's been here a while. You got the good overhanging branches here on the edge of the field, and the trail goes too. That's nice. Out of the sun. and get all the rocks out of the fields. They must be big, too big to get out. There's rocks out there. Guess they all got in that field, and the glaciers moved through here, dragging the rocks with it. Yeah. All right, it's 10:20, almost 10:30. So I got the ride out here at 8 o'clock. I've been out here long. And I had the water bottles. I put them in the freezer, in that little freezer in that shed that I slept in last night. And one was solid, froze, and I put a little bit of water on it. The other two, I'd put it in the freezer like at 5 in the morning or something when I got up. And they were just about solid. And I've been drinking out, I'm sipping out of them. And all my water, even the one that was frozen solid, is now Luke cool. All the ice is completely melted, and it's Luke cool. That gives you an idea how hot it is. I look at these old style Pennsylvania houses, man. Out here, pretty cool. Gunshots may be heard from a nearby firing range. Well, that's just great. I'm on 4th of July. I get a chance to get shot now. Wow. It always just keeps getting better out here. Better and better. Now that sure enough looks like peanuts. But I don't know. Here's the firing range out there. Let's all go to the firing range for the 4th of July. Sounds like a war's going on over there. I don't hear any bullets whizzing around out here anywhere, so that's a good thing. There's some big bore weapons going off. Every once in a while you hear a kapow. Alright. Now the firing range is in the background. We're back out in the Pennsylvania cornfields. Better check, make sure I'm still on the trail. Yeah, it says I'm still on the trail. It just doesn't look, oh, I see a ash out there. Looks like we're going to cross this road. I think after this we're going to cross the turnpike after a while. And that's where that hotel is, if I can find a path. I'm at the old neighborhood, old Kings Grand neighborhood, 1960 style houses. What I meant. Somewhere around that there. Alright. This guy just parked his car at this trailhead by the road, and he's day hiking out in front of me with his earphones on. That way he can hear the rattle. He can hear the timber rattlers easier that way. And more houses over there. You know, usually by this time of day, I've already did at least one 500-foot climb and exerted myself, but despite not sleeping real well last night, not getting a good night's sleep, despite the heat, despite walking across these hot fields, despite drinking a 6-pack last night, which is something I rarely do out here. You know, at the most I might drink 1 or 2 beers. I'm not even tired. I mean, I'm well overdue a break. But since I haven't exerted myself, it's just, I feel like I could just do this pace for literally forever. But I know I need a break. But we'll see. We get up here close to the turnpike. Shit, it ain't gonna be long. I'll be done, dude. 6 miles this morning. We're up here pretty quick. 6 or 7 miles already. All right. Somehow or another, this path ended up in the sun. It's like in between two fields, and it's in the sun. Back in the woods. Yippee! Don't think I'm gonna drink any of the farm runoff water. I need to take a break somewhere. I've been hiking since I got out of that cafe there in Boiling Springs, and that's probably since 9 o'clock, and it's 11:30, and I haven't taken my pack off yet. So I'm gonna take a break right here. I think so, right here. All right, right at 12 o'clock. It's a nice cool breeze in here. I just went across that cornfield here. After crossing that road, another cornfield, and it's cool in here for some reason. I did climb up a little bit, but this breeze don't feel bad. It's not cold. It's not a cool breeze, but it's just a breeze, and it makes it tolerable. Look at that waterfall. It's hard to tell which way it's flowing. I guess it comes from that marshy lakey area, or marshy area down. Yeah, I guess that'd be runoff, and it would run this way. I guess. Yeah, 'cause that's a field over there. It looks like a house. All right. Well, we don't need to go that way. We got a path that'll go by it. No fence here. The name of that road is Old Stonehouse Road on my map, and it says, but I don't. It doesn't. There's no. Where's the old Stonehouse at? You know, there's no notation with it. So I guess at one time there was a stone house. Caution, pesticide application. Well, I guess since it's going across this federal trail, I got to put down what it is. On 6/29/26, they put down glyphosate. That's a weed killer. That's a nasty weed killer. And Kenador. Okay. This field has been poisoned. Stonehouse Road, but look over here. See that big old house? It's got 4 fireplaces in it, and the whole gable, the whole side of it's all stone, made of stone. I wonder if that's the old stone house. 4 fireplace chimneys, so you know that probably goes back in the 1800s, because it goes down and heats every room with a fireplace. I mean, that whole house was heated with fireplace. Yeah. Okay, maybe that's the old stone house that the road's named after. I get to the edge of the field here, and it looks to be an old family cemetery right here off the AT. Look at these old graves here. These are real old. Look at them. I mean, this one right here. These are your more recent ones. And that's born January 16th, 1856, died December 8th, 1888. Let me, is there a way in here? Let me go in here and look. Look at it. He was born 1775. Right here. Thomas died August 19th, 1808. He was age 3 months. Age 4 years. These are all kids here. 1878. They go back a ways. A lot of them back in the 1800s. They died 1848 over there. Seems like most of these old ones, they live to be about 50 or around 60 years old. 60 years. Very few of them lived over 60 years old. There's somebody walking towards me. Oh, look at that. It's dangerous. That's 2-lane road here. That's Pennsylvania Turnpike right there. Pennsylvania Turnpike. Finally got off that little nasty road and back in the shade again now. I just passed over the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Now the next thing we're going to pass over here, I don't know, in another mile, about a mile or so, it's going to be the Route 11. And as all the truck drivers that drive through the Northeast know, where the Pennsylvania Turnpike and Route 11 meet is called Carlisle. And you got a big Flying J truck stop and a couple of hotels right there at Carlisle. Now, where the Appalachian Trail crosses, it crosses Route 11 in the air under a hooped, chain link hoop. It crosses, but it's real close to those hotel rooms and not far from it, and then across the street from that Flying J is where the Appalachian Trail goes in. So I'm betting there's a path that gets through there. I looked at it at Google Earth, and we'll see. I'm going to go look, and we're going to go check it out. At worst comes to worst, I'll at least get in there somehow or another, get some water from them hotels, go in there, use the bathroom, get some water if I can't get a room. But you know, I talked to that hostel lady. I asked her about it. Another field. And I asked her about it, and she said there's no car show. I guess Carlisle's known for car shows and stuff. You know, I guess because it's got a good proximity to 2 major roads, and then get trailers in there with the cars and all that stuff. I guess probably that truck stop. But for the car shows, he said there's no car shows this weekend. But it's 4th of July weekend too. People are traveling through there. So, hey, friend, what brings you to this place, friend? The Appalachian Trail brought me to this place. The place of no-make salad corn. It looks like a pineapple field or something, but it's corn. Big drought this year in Pennsylvania and the whole East Coast. And wherever civilization thrives, off to the side, the iron horse travels. Uh-huh. Onward. All right, there's Route 11. There is a way down. We do have a breakdown lane. Yeah, we're in business. We can walk down there. Yeah, it's Route 11. Shoot, we're right here. Store right over there. Let's go. That's what I seen, that sign when I was truck driving. Appalachian Trail. All right, we gotta cross this. It's pretty steep right now. I don't want to slide down. I don't want to end up like him. Appalachian Trail. We got plenty of room on this road. Yeah, the truck stops up there. That Flying J's up there on the right. Now see where the Pennsylvania Turnpike cuts across way up there. Oh yeah, yeah. We'll walk on down there and check out, see if there's any hotel rooms. Get me a good night's sleep. Chiropractor right there. I'll ask him if I can do walk-ins. Might give him a call. Maybe I'll find it. Across the Route 11 down there. This ain't too bad. There's a Super 8. There's another motel across there. Let's check this out. Alright, this Super 8 right here. I done took a shower, cleaned up. These clothes were washed yesterday, but I'm going to wash them again. I can wash my clothes here for $4. It cost me $5 there, and it took her all night to get my clothes to me. You know, give you an idea of these hostels. This place, after tax, it's only a quarter mile from the trail on a good old wide, you know, and I asked that hostel, and they had that hostel for 8 years there in Bowling Springs. And I said, is there any way I can get from that trail to, you know, it's about 7 miles north there. When the trail crosses the Route 11, is there any way I can get down there to walk down to the hotel down there? She goes, I don't have a clue. I know where that's at. See, they're not, right? They ain't got a clue about even the hiking part of it. That tells you something right there. But that's typical. Some of these hostels. Some of them claim they're hikers. They ain't. And it's $65.49. That's what I paid here. $4 for laundry. They got a resupply for these truckers and stuff. They've got, you know, foodstuffs to go in here. It's cheaper than the food mart and dollar drinks instead of $2.50 drinks, stuff like that. It's cheaper than the food mart in Bowling Springs, in that food mart where they just rip you off. I bought the resupply. I wish I wouldn't have bought a resupply there for Duncannon. The resupply is even cheaper here at my hotel. I'm fixing to go across the street. There's a couple of restaurants. There's a Flying J down there with a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm gonna go get some Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm thinking seriously, off that $65. Hell, I paid twice that down south of the trail in worse stinking hotels. Because they knew, you know, they knew they could just prey off the hikers coming through. So, I mean, I think I might go get me another night here. It's a good place to ease on. This is central Pennsylvania. And plus it's got super fast Wi-Fi. I downloaded that Wi-Fi. I'm not even worried about how long this video is because it's super fast Wi-Fi. It uploads quick. So I'm gonna say, all right, two washers and a dryer. I might come over here. I might do my that's a pretty good sized dryer. I might do my down, my underquilt and overquilt and all that stuff. Do a zero tomorrow and do all that here. My room's right across. I can keep an eye on it. It's 4 o'clock right now, and it's 102 degrees right here in Carlisle. 102 degrees, and it just feels like an oven walking across here. But man, it feels so good not to have that pack on. I couldn't find me a doggone restaurant. There's a restaurant down here. I can smell it. Right there across from the hotel. See them old people? Old people eat at good restaurants. Middlesex restaurant, I'm going. And get across there. I put on my bottom of my khakis, my hiking pants here. I look more like a truck driver than anything else than a hiker. I took my gaiters off. Alright. Alright, that's the sheets right down there. There's the Super 8. There's where I eat dinner. I don't need to go anywhere else. That place down there's got all kinds of stuff. I can get beer, whatever. I got beer $7.50. $7 for a 6-pack of Budweiser. And I paid, and this is in bottles, long neck bottles. I paid $15 at the hostel, and that was the deal. I've been paying $3 a beer at these hostels all the way up here. So I say, if you get off the corridor, just a quarter mile, just get out of that corridor, you can save a lot of money. 80% of all the places along the Appalachian Trail are designed and gouge hikers. That's the way it is. It wasn't always like that, but that's the way it is. I've been hiking out here for 15 years, and I've seen it transform. All right. Less money than I have at 80% of the hostels on the trail. All these hostels, they got gimmicks. You're gonna drop. I mean, I spent $64 after tax, everything for this room. All these hostels, once you get, they got all these gimmicks and things. You get the resupply is gonna get you. They're gonna get you. They're experts at it. They'll have these gimmicks where it's $15 for breakfast, and they'll call it the best breakfast on the trail. They all do it now, and they'll make up a bunch of batter. They'll make some pancakes and throw some sausage links in there, and you get a little bit of meat, and you think you're really getting a great deal. They buy all that stuff in bulk, and they're going to get $75 out of each hiker that comes through there. They're going to get it somehow or another. And then some of the latest stuff is the slack packing craze, where they literally give you a ride out of town. Everybody else that's through hiking or doing the continuous thing, they hike out with a full food bag. So they paid exorbitant prices for. And no, they'll give you a ride up the trail, and they'll watch your gear, and you can hike back downhill while everybody else is hiking uphill. Then they'll come back and give you another ride back out there. They get that extra day. They get you an extra day in the hostel, and they'll give you a deal on going and picking you up, shuttling and picking you up. It's to get that dollar out of you, and it's interesting when you sit back and watch it. Gets that bunk filled another night, but feeling pretty good. I think I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go and take out another night. I'm going to get my the wash here is cheaper than any hostel. It's $2 to wash, $2 to dry. That's all hostels charge a minimum of $5. So I can't get my wash done any cheaper. It's very good machines over here. I'm doing it myself, and I think I'll do that. I think I'll do my my underquilt. I mean my underquilt and overquilt. Get that done, and get it dried real slow. Just sit over here, stay on it. It's right across. I can sit there and watch it. Usually do that in the laundromat, but I could do that here. The restaurant across the street serves breakfast all the time if you want breakfast. They've got breakfast, dinner, and lunch, or breakfast, lunch, and dinner specials. It opens at 6, closes at midnight. I mean, it's like a dream right across the street. The sheet store down there, I just bought a half a gallon of chocolate milk for $3.99. You know, I mean, anywhere else down the trail, that's going to cost you big bucks. They sell you the little pints for $5. a little pint, much less a half a gallon, a quart. You know, I just bought a half a gallon for $3.99. Whole 3% whole chocolate milk. So yeah, you get out of the AT corridor, you get out of the rip off zone. All right, let's get this thing wrapped up here.